Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen Botham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen Botham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love introducing you to new businesses and especially really creative, powerful ideas. That's why we're excited to have with us Cora Hageman, founder of Wonderfill Refillery. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeremy, and thank you so much for having us on today. I just can't wait to hop right into this interview and tell you more about what we got going on.
Well, it's really creative. It's great for the environment. We're going to talk all about that. But let's start with a little bit of your backstory and where this idea came from.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised here in Tennessee. Love the area I live in. I love the land. Grew up on a farm in small town Moss, Tennessee, which really just brings your connection to the earth. And with that, I was raised around a lot of the back to the earth families. You could say a hippie community, if you will. And that just puts you in the mindset from childhood to adulthood of caring about not just the environment and the land and what you're using, but the products that you're consuming as well. So that has just kind of been a lifelong introduction that I've been part of. And as I've grown into adulthood, I then stepped into wildlife and fisheries conservation science as a major, and then pivoted towards business and have just found a way over the years to now mesh those two together in such a meaningful way and just bring my childhood values into my career.
Did you ever think you would be a business owner, especially with a shop?
Yes, I can confidently say that I 100% thought I was going to be a business owner. My mom's favorite story is, there's even a picture from the summer, is we would go to this festival called the Summer Solstice in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. And there is a picture from that summer, me as 7 years old, getting rocks from the creek to sell to the festival goers so that I could then buy more fancier crystals from one of the vendors there. And this would happen essentially every summer we would go, of me getting all these crystals, selling them, in turn for me to go get my own supply of crystals too. So she kind of watched me go through that as a child and then go through my school years of just like wanting to lead and excel. And now I went into business for the last 5 years. And once I left my previous workplace, it was no surprise to her or to me that I have now went into the business of sales and having a storefront and kind of pushing the way. I even have crystals for sale in my store, which I just think is such a little treat. So yeah, I absolutely saw this one coming.
The life of an entrepreneur, and especially at an early age. And I love the full circle too with the crystals. So let's go ahead and dive in. Wonderfill Refillery, talk about what it is, because I think it's very unique and different. And I think too, just it's a really cool when you talk about reuse and, the environmental impact too, in terms of saving it. So I think there's a lot of really neat storylines, but go ahead and describe Wonderfill Refillery.
So we'll hop right in. Right there in the name is a question we have every single day of what is a refillery, like you just said. And a refillery is a retail shop where you can come in and buy your bulk household goods by the ounce. So a lot of our product is priced by weight. You can come in, you can bring your own container, you can grab one from us. We have an upcycle cabinet with 3 containers, and you can get things like shampoos, conditioners, laundry soaps. There's refilleries out there that even offer grains and beans and rice and into the food realm. So we are trying to provide people with a way to come in and buy their everyday essentials without having to get single-use packaging. And it's going very well so far. We have just been accepted with open arms by our community here in Cookeville, which is no surprise because we're the 7th in the state, and the others that I've visited, the 3 in Nashville, they're beloved by the area that they're in. So that's the whole premise, is you bring your own container, you buy by weight, you're eliminating those single-use plastics and just packages in general. And other than that, we have just your household sustainable goods. So we've got your bamboo, I always try and say disposable, but your bamboo biodegradable brushes and things like that. So we try and keep plastic out of the storefront as a whole too, because no one person will ever produce as much waste as a business will. And as a sustainable business, I feel as though it is my personal responsibility to try my utmost best to keep it out of the store as a whole as well.
Yeah, I like that you make it very easy by explaining on the website, like, here's the process. You
Hmm.
can sanitize your container. Here's how to do it, especially if you're doing lotions and such. Here's
Hmm.
how we're going to weigh it to figure out, and then you weigh it after. And so, talk about kind of that process when someone walks in. Give us a little bit of a how that process works.
Yeah, so you nail on the head with the website. So we do have a website that'll walk you through the steps of how to shop the refillery. But if you haven't found that first and you're just kind of stumbling in, you come in and you can select a jar off our shelves or again from our community cabinet. We will then take that jar and take a tear weight on it, which is where we take that container and we weigh it on our scale. We take a chalk marker so it can be easily wiped off and write the weight on the bottom. And we tell everybody you can buy as much or as little as you want. If you want to buy one single half of a pump of some shampoo just to give it a try, we encourage it because we want people to have products that they like and it's not sustainable to be wasteful. So we encourage everybody to even just get a little bit to try it out. So after you fill up as much or as little as you'd like, you bring it back up to the front and we just weigh it out and just price your product by weight. We subtract out that tear weight we wrote on the bottom of your container and then bing, bang, boom, they're right out the door with their products that they want.
Give us an idea of how you go about sourcing and figuring out which products you want to have in the store. So, talk about kind of that side of the business.
So thankfully, even though refilleries are a slightly new concept to Tennessee, with us being the seventh, there's not a whole lot of them. They're not a new concept overall for the country and for many countries. So when we are looking for products, there's already established brands that are very familiar with supplying to refilleries. One of our common ones in here is going to be Rustic Strength and Great Fill. Both of them use a system called closed loop. And what closed loop is where they will send us containers because it's still hard to go completely plastic free, especially when shipping bulk liquids. So they'll send us containers that once we are done with them, we are able to make sure they're completely empty and then send them back for free to be sanitized and reused. Or if the case is of powdered goods, they'll actually send them in biodegradable bags. So we are constantly looking for established brands that, if we're going large scale, that are doing closed loop practices, just because even with shipping and having a business, again, we're trying to keep waste as low as possible. So closed loop is one of our non-negotiables. Another one is that we are looking for clean ingredients. So we want people to also be looking for things not only that are clean for them to use on themselves or in their house around their children, but also for the environment. There's several things that if you take a shower with toxic shampoos, not only is that bad for you, but it washes down the drain and feeds all the way down the line. So we are trying to keep in mind like clean body, clean home, clean earth. And those are just the two important things that when I'm kind of scouring online and going through the wholesaling sites, I'm looking for those values. I'm looking for those things on the back end. And then other than that, we carry a lot of local farm goods and small businesses here in the Upper Cumberland and in Tennessee as a whole. Those ones, of course, it's easy to do closed loop because most of them are just a short drive away. So we actually do some door pickup and door drop off. But in those cases, same thing. If my vendors aren't already using zero plastic packaging and they've expressed interest in being in our store, I have just kindly suggested I would like to see them attempt to go no plastic with their packaging. And we have actually had several vendors respond amazingly to that. And they've swapped over almost all of their packaging with their small business to no plastic once realizing that that was out there and that was an option and it was effective. So that's what we're looking for is the no plastic. And if we're having to use it, then it's in a closed loop case where it's not single use.
Yeah, I think that's very cool that that through line goes all the way through, to your point with the closed loop. And so that's awesome. Carry that into some of the other things. I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but some of the different products and things that are also stocked.
Yeah, so we are still growing our refillery station. We have about 50 refills right now, and it is going to be your all natural deodorants from Little Sleep Farm in Lebanon, Tennessee. We've got shampoos, conditioner, laundry soap, a thing called Unbleach, which is a clothes whitener if you're bleach sensitive. So we've got some basic, mostly household cleaners and personal care that are very common right now in our refill station. Other than that, we do have tallow products from a grass-fed farm in Crossville. We have organic beeswax products from a bee farm here locally. We have all natural sheep's milk from a sheep farm. So that's just some of our little small farms right off the top of my head. We also have, again, your staples like metal straws and brush cleaners and bamboo hairbrushes. So we really are trying to hit the nail on the head. Like if you walked in our store, you can find just about everything that you would find in every other gift shop, or if you're going to a convenience store without the snacks and food. We have not branched into food yet, but we're shooting to have like your staples. They are just no plastic. They're sustainable. They're meant to live a longer life and to be used again and again. So, and once you're done with them, they can be broken down and composted instead of sitting for 1,000 years. So it's hard to name off everything because we really carry a lot. And if you look at other refilleries, and sometimes they do focus just on the refill portion of it. Our space is actually about 1,000 square feet, and for a refillery, that's considered large. So we've dedicated a small section of our space to classes, and then the rest is refills, and then your like shelf stable goods that just make for a sustainable home.
Touch on to the website because you have a lot of other items up on the website as well.
So, yes, our website is currently through Shopify, and they are doing this great thing where I hate to call it drop shipping because drop shipping leaves such a bad taste in people's mouths, but they have this new thing called Shopify Collective, and I'll dive into it really quick just because I know so many people are going to see it and assume drop shipping is bad. But we're able to partner with other sustainable brands directly. So we're not essentially drop shipping through those bad drop shipping companies everybody's familiar with, and you're going to get your package full of plastic. We have made a point to partner through Shopify Collective with brands that people recognize and are still going to ship out the products in a sustainable way. And you're not going to receive a box full of plastics. And that is our way of how we're carrying so many products on our website. I'm sure you saw we have bags and baby clothes. And like it is truly, I think I have another 1,300 items I still need to list this week. It is currently essentially just me in the storefront right now. I'm founder, single employee, social media. I'm wearing a lot of hats here. And the website, I trickle it out here and there as I can. But what our website, majority of it is a streamline for people if they find our website to then quickly be able to find a slew of other brands that we have chose to partner with through Shopify Collective. They fulfill the orders. We are the storefront and the means to guide you to those other great brands. And there's some items we have listed on there as well, but since I am the wearer of many hats, listing and shipping items is not somewhere that I myself am sustainably to in a way that I could function day to day. So our website will be a great resource for tons of different brands and variety. And then our storefront is, for the most part, local goods and things that we have been more hands-on with.
Yeah, and I think all of us can relate to wearing, so many hats, and it's like you're doing the best you can to get it all out there and make it happen. How has this though led to, you mentioned kind of the education side of this, but how has this led to some aha moments when you talk about customers coming in and, as you mentioned, these are popular in like Nashville and bigger cities, but when you talk about opening people's eyes to, okay, not only what is a refillery, but just these important conversations around, okay, sustainability, conservation with the environment. How is this leading to education and conversations to really open people's eyes on being intentional with the choices they make?
I just don't think a lot of people are aware, and the world as a whole has become such a consumer hub. We just consume and consume and consume. It is our normal day to day that people don't even think about the amount of waste that they're making until they really see that there are other options, and that a lot of the times brands are using the cheapest route, which is going to be plastic and single-use waste. So just seeing that there's alternative and getting to talk to somebody that isn't going to be against them. I don't have a good way to put it, but a lot of places that are in the sustainability realm, they don't always make people feel welcome that are coming into it, and it feels like it makes them feel hesitant. They don't feel like they're welcomed in the sustainability realm. Our approach is kindness and letting them know that this isn't a new way of thinking. This is an old way of thinking. And a lot of time that's people's aha. The amount we consume is new. Us being sustainable is not. If you look back at the old way of doing things, an old school general stores is a great way of how I compare refilleries. You used to go into an old school general store and you'd fill up your grains and beans from a big old barrel into a brown paper sack. And that was the norm. And that it was the more sustainable option. So the aha we're truly experiencing is just approaching with kindness to open their eyes that this isn't necessarily something new and scary and intimidating, that this is something that is longer standing than the consumption that we currently face. And that's been the great aha, because you don't really get people wanting to think about it if you scare them. You get people wanting to think about it when it can be integrated into their life easily. And that's been the great part of showing people that there's other ways about going about joining in the sustainability movement without being like, oh, you can't use straws, and if you use any plastic, you're bad, and you don't recycle, so you don't know what you're doing. Like, we are truly approaching this as like, let's shift back to an older way of doing things and a slower way of doing things. And that's where I'm seeing the most traction.
So what's next for you and Wonderfill Refillery?
So what's next for us is, surviving our first 12 months as a new business. There's a lot of statistics out there about not being able to survive your first 12 months. This is a college town and this is a growing Minneapolis area. And I don't believe this, what people say that Tennessee in the South isn't sustainable. I just think that we're sustainable. The resources aren't accessible. So we're just trying to make things accessible, slowly grow in a way that isn't going to hinder us. Even though it's just me, I can do quite a bit as long as I do so at a steady pace. And that's the near future. The far future is I would love to see more of these pop up on a smaller scale in our small towns. Small towns are what make up a lot of our states throughout the whole United States. And I would love to see in some way either working with other people interested in owning them, not necessarily franchising, but creating a network where this is common knowledge of how to start them up and help people expand and then help their communities. Because it is important to me, not just to help the earth, but to help my community as a whole and help other small communities that are growing remember, again, the older, slower way of doing things, both sustainably and as a community.
Yeah, I love it. Well, wrap up with website. Where do we go to learn more? Social media. So even the location. So mention the physical address, but where do we go to learn more and get connected with Wonderfill Refillery?
Yeah, our website, of course, is www.wonderfillrefillery.com. And all of our handles are all Wonderfill Refillery. No dashes, no periods. It is just our name clicked together, and that is going to be our handles on everything, which is amazing that nobody else had that grabbed up. And that's how you found us on all of our socials. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Again, I run all the socials, so I'm on there every day trying to get the word out. I'm here with you today, Jeremy, getting the word out. And our address, we are in Cookeville, Tennessee. We're at 17 West Spring. We have a mural of a chicken on the side of our building currently, if you're driving by and see that. But we did just get approved for our grant from the city, and we are going to be doing $14,000 in repairs to the exterior of our building and hopefully having a new Upper Cumberland waterfall mural in the next year. So for now, look for the chicken at 17 West Spring. In the future, there'll be some waterfalls in your distance.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so when you're spelling it out for everybody, it's Wonderfill, so Fill, Wonderfill Refillery. And so that makes it easy to find. So Cora, thank you for all you do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy. I truly appreciate it.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.